Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
You're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Friday, folks. You made it there. It is Super Regional Weekend Gators Gamecocks at Condron Ballpark.
That's right.
If you missed it last night, the Florida Panthers somehow won a hockey game. And so they are now 2-1 tonight, the NBA Finals, Game 4. I expect the Nuggets to win again. We're going to be joined today by JC and Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. He will give us a rundown of now the Gators have, I think, the top transfer portal roster in the SEC, and he's going to let us know where it stands statistically in the country. But supposedly we got some dudes coming in, so he will let us know all about that. Andy asked here, JC, good morning. You're all gatored up today. You like Mr. Two Bits.
I love it, man. It's the time. It's time. Super Regional Weekend, brother. We're gonna have a big weekend here, man. 6 SEC teams are alive. You can get as many as 4 in now, and we'll see if that holds. I'm gonna predict 3 SEC teams make it to Omaha and play for the national championship.
All right. Well, in the meantime, Andy says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. Shane, did you see that Billy Horschel is the new team golf league? What is that? Do you know anything about that, JC?
Didn't see that. No.
Is the new team golf league. I don't know what that means. All right. Super Regionals, Dan says the tickets sold out in 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I was going to get to this, Joseph. Coach Walton separated with Bosch, his pitching coach, Mike Bosch. So he will be bringing in a new pitching coach. And I'll be damned, them damn Oklahoma Lady Sooners are just ridiculous. They won who beat them? They went 60-1.
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
I think it was Baylor. I think Baylor upset them early in the year. But they won 3 straight. Patty Gasso's won 6 of the last 10.
Yeah.
And they ain't going anywhere, folks.
No.
I mean, they're so damn good.
It's a freaking dynasty. This is like the Yankees back in the.
You know what it is? It's equivalent to Gino Auriemma.
Yeah,
what UConn used to be. Remember, it was like because I saw on Twitter all these people bitching and complaining about they need to do something about parity. And so look, there is parity. They're just that damn good, and they get the best players, which is fine. They deserve it. I have no problems with the way Patty Gasso and them run their program. I love the way the girls play, but it's very similar to when UConn had that stretch where they just dominated female athletics.
It is, and they do get to play the championships at Oklahoma City. That's true, but I don't care. They could play that in Mexico City. They still would have blown out everybody. They're just better. They're just better. They have the best hitting they have for the last 5 years, and pitching wise, you just can't touch them. I don't know what she does necessarily to get all these great players in softball, because you've got other great programs in softball, but she does it. They are the best. And like we said, for 2 months, everybody's playing for second in softball.
Chris says he doesn't think Oklahoma will be that dominant when they come in the SEC. They will.
Why not?
The Big 12 has very good softball. John says, I agree 100%, John, but it ain't going to happen. He says, go get Jen Rocha back and give her a blank check. The problem is, what people don't realize, she pitched for the Sooners back in her day. So she's home, and she ain't going anywhere. She's had opportunities to be a head coach. I don't think she wants to be. And I would assume when Patty Gasso says, I'm done, it's Jen Rocha's squad, I would think. So we'll see. All
I
right.
don't
So
think
Andy says,
don't hold your breath on Patty going anywhere. I mean, why would you? Why would she? She's not old. I think she'll be around as long as she wants to be. She runs that campus right now.
yeah.
But anyway, 4 games today, QB. One note about today's games is that Indiana State is the higher seed, but they're playing this region in Fort Worth because of the Special Olympics commitments and some other things that they had in Terre Haute. So it's a tough trip.
We talked about that yesterday. It's a shame that the Sycamores have to go on the road, but it was one of the coolest things I've seen in sports in a long time. A ton of TCU boosters.
Yeah.
They made donations of over $25,000 to the Indiana State Special Olympics. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, it is, and they've got the money down there in TCU, and it's a high dollar place, and it's a private school, and I think that is a team that you better keep your eye on, because if they hit anything like they did in the regionals when they pushed Arkansas around, they're going to Omaha. I mean, they hit the ball. God, they hit the ball. So I don't know. I'm really, really excited about this weekend's baseball, man. I hope. I hope that the SEC can get 4 in, but I'm thinking 3 teams will make it. I do.
All right, back to Andy's question here. He says that the golf league is a new golf league that was announced the other day with Tiger, Rory, Serena Williams, Shaq, Steph Curry, all investors. Team format with 3 players on a team. All right.
Interesting. All right, that's interesting. I had no idea. Didn't know about it, but I'm sure it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, Dan says Patty Gasso signed a new contract last year. She makes over $1 million a year.
Yeah, great. I mean, she should. I think golf, though, QB, since you brought it up, is going to be much more exciting and much more.
Well, I agree with that, but
I think it's going to be better.
I still will not watch a live event because I do not get into the silliness of the live. And then like this league that Annie just brought up, the 3-man team, that I don't know why. I love the college team aspect of golf. I just don't buy it and get into it with pro.
Yeah, I don't, because we've been.
I mean, would you get excited to watch Billy Horschel, Dustin Johnson, and Koepka in a 3-man scramble or whatever against Phil Mickelson and the 2 other dudes? I mean,
I think they ought to do a shamble and play their best drive, and then go best ball. But maybe they could do alternate shot from there. Listen, I think we've been conditioned to watch these guys play for themselves for our entire lives, and now to think that they're on a team is kind of strange to me as well as it is to you.
Yeah.
And
speaking of golf, Fred Biondi played in his first pro tour yesterday on the Corn Ferry. He decided to shoot 7 under par and go bogey free.
Wow, man, he'll be on the regular tour in no time. This guy is really special, from Brazil. And, like we were talking about not too long ago, it's amazing how JC has gotten these players from China and Brazil and from all corners of the United States to come and play for the Florida Gators. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I saw he is sponsored by Callaway Golf.
Good.
And so I texted the youngin and I said, make sure you text Fred whenever he gets tired of that set of clubs he's got now, give them to you. So I ain't got to buy you any.
So he's buddies with Fred, right? Yeah.
Oh, they're very close. Very
okay.
Close.
I think that's wonderful. Good for Luke.
I told him to make sure don't piss Fred off, because free golf clubs and balls and gloves go a long ways.
He can take Fred out there to go quail hunting or something. I mean, it'd be great. I'm sure.
Well, Fred's busy. Fred's busy now, making lots of money.
He's busy. He's busy cashing checks. He's going to do very well, Fred. I'm very happy and excited for that whole program, man. Everybody's in a good mood over there, by the way, as you know. And Gator Golf Day is going to be awesome in the fall. And then I can't wait till they honor the team during the Tennessee game on the field.
And Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. We're speaking with Johnny Cornell.
I'm going to make JC. I'm making my debut at Condron tonight, baby. First time ever. I'm so excited.
You've never been to the ballpark?
I have not. Isn't that asinine? It's completely asinine.
Is.
It's really asinine. Is. But I'm going tonight, Jack, and I'm going to sit on the picnic tables out there. And then Saturday, I've got regular.
Can I give you a little tip?
Yeah, go ahead.
if you're wanting to go out there, you better get your ass there early.
Yeah.
You can't just roll in
we
at
have
6:04 when the first pitch is thrown, JC, and think you're going to get a seat out at the picnic tables.
I can't be a Dodger fan. I get it, but I think I have like a reserved picnic table somewhere.
Oh,
it's reserved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is going to be? I know you're going with some clients probably.
I am.
JC refuses to purchase a ticket on his own.
Oh, does that sound familiar, QB? Maybe.
So are you going to partake in the beverages in the outfield?
Oh, you can't. Is the sky blue? I mean, I'm going to be hollering out there, man. You'll hear me at.
Well, Joseph says, JC, come holla at your boy in section 106.
All right, Joseph, you got it, buddy. I'll look for you in section 106. And I'll tell you, I can't wait for Saturday either, man. I'm going to play tennis in the morning and get cleaned up and go straight to Condron and get in the regular seats with everybody else. But
well, I would tell you this.
I'll look for you, Joseph.
I'll tell you this. Don't even get cleaned up after you get sweaty on the tennis court, because at 3:30, JC,
it's going to be a burner.
In the ballpark, it's going to be very hot.
That's right. I can handle it, baby.
I'm going to be there as well, but I'm going to be in the AC.
Did you? Okay. Well, listen. I think O'Sullivan is he's also going to be. Let's say, can we just hypothesize for a minute? Let's say he somehow wins it this year. That would give him 2. Where does that put him in the annals of great Gator coaches? In top 3, top 4?
Well, I mean, he's had great stability with the program for the most part. It's not like they've had a bunch of bad years.
Right.
You know, they've had some disappointing endings to the years, not making, advancing or whatever. But
sure.
He's built a damn good baseball program. There's no question about that.
I don't think they've been to a super regional in 5 years. Is that right or wrong?
You are correct. I think the last time was 2018, maybe.
Yeah. So it's been a while. So we're I'm
so thrilled. JC, you're gonna be the most famous guy that everybody wants to see at the ballpark, because Tony says come see him. He's in section 107.
Okay. All right. I'll go walking up JC, and down the aisle saying,
this is what you need to do.
Joseph?
This is what you're gonna do. And you gotta have a few soda pops before you go in the ballpark. Get there early.
Don't worry about
that. I want you to start a new it's not a new tradition, but you know how every fan, like if you go to the Jets game, Fireman Ed is leading cheers. I want you to go up and down the aisles getting some cheers going, and then all your loyal listeners will be able to see you.
That's a great idea, really. It is. Fireman Ed, he sits on his friend's shoulders when they do the Jet. He's got the hat.
Well, maybe you can get on Kevin's shoulders and. Well, you may hurt him.
Well, we'll work on it. But hey, man, it's all exciting. We've got El Nino keeping the rain away, God willing. We've got South Carolina. Yeah, they need a little payback, right? I mean, isn't South Carolina a team that swept Florida the last time?
Yes. But we had like 24 walks. That's hard to believe.
Well, I'm thrilled. And South Carolina fans are fun too. I mean, they do not hold back when it comes to having a good time. South Carolina fans, I'll just say that. So I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great super regional. I know it's an SEC opponent, but you know what? They're going to have plenty of times to play other teams if they can get through this. Today's schedule has Duke, Virginia, TCU, Indiana State, of course, South Carolina, Florida, and then Oral Roberts and Oregon will play out in Eugene. And then tomorrow we have many more games, including, Alabama's going to play at Wake Forest. We have LSU and Kentucky out of the SEC. Tennessee, how about this one, QB? Tennessee at Southern Mississippi, who celebrated the retirement of one of their old-time coaches over 40 years. He's gone. And here's Southern Miss for the second straight year. Southern Miss is hosting a super regional. Good for the folks that have
what if the Golden Eagles somehow advance and then win it all, and then your last 3 national champs are Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Southern Miss?
And
wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, and they have a chance to do it because they're still playing. And then we've got a great series out in Stanford with Texas going over there as well. So Alabama, Wake Forest, So it's baseball time, man. This is fun. We've got a week to go before the U.S. Open. That's going to be tremendous. If the Gators can stay alive, win the Super Regional, that means we'll have the Gators in Omaha. That's going to be tremendous. June is great, man. It's bridging our time between now and when we get ready for football practice in August. So this is helpful.
Joseph makes a good point here. He says one of our best pitchers is from Southern Miss, and they still made it. Very impressive.
Yeah.
You know, one of our top 3 pitchers pitched for the Golden Eagles last year, right, JC?
Okay. No, tell me.
It's the Hurston.
Oh,
the kid that pitches.
Walter. Walter. Hurston Walter.
Yeah, he pitches day 2.
Day 2, or is it 3 or 2? Okay. Yeah, Walter. He's excellent.
He's from Southern Miss.
Yeah, okay. Well, listen, man, they play good baseball over there in Hattiesburg. Now, last year, Mississippi shut them down. I don't even think they scored in either game against Mississippi. So I think the fans are hungry for something exciting. But Tennessee is on a roll right now. They beat a very good Clemson team in that regional and won that regional rather easily.
Why did Tennessee have to travel?
Weren't
they a higher seed?
I thought they were higher ranked. I thought they would get to play in Knoxville. I cannot say. And who did Southern Miss beat? I'm trying to remember that as well. Well, we could look it up. It's not important. But the point is that they're playing in Hattiesburg again, second straight year, and the fans there want to go to Omaha. So we'll see if they can make it. Tennessee's going to be tough.
All right, I'm looking here at the Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. I think one of my golfers is
Pendrith.
Justin Rose.
You got Pendrith.
I got Matt Fitzpatrick, and man, all my guys are playing well.
Yeah, and you got.
Where are your guys at?
I got Hadwin at 1 under. He's 4 back.
Yeah.
So
The Southern Miss Golden Eagles, they upset Auburn.
They beat Auburn. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So JC, since you're great with geography, where are they playing this Canadian Open? Has it got anything? Why is it not smoky there?
Well, that smoke is coming from the Nova Scotia province, which is the far eastern province, and heading down. I think that's right. And this Canadian Open, I believe, is in Toronto. So Toronto would be obviously near Detroit. So that's kind of
a little bit east. West. I mean, a little bit west. So
it's
crazy.
They're having issues with the smog and the fire danger and so forth. They have to manage their forest better up in Canada.
Need some better forest rangers.
They do. They do. I think that's what it is. But listen, they'll get that. That'll clear away, and they'll be fine. It's tough right now up there, but we're not playing baseball up in the Northeast right now.
All right, we got a text on the Titan Mar text line from Jimmy. Jimmy says, JC, do you think the Florida Panthers can come back and win this series?
That game last night was phenomenal. They did it in typical Florida Panthers style by scoring with a minute to go in the game to force overtime. Nobody's surprised by that because this is what they do. They have not yet lost an overtime game in their playoff run, and Carter Verhaeghe won it on a nice rush there in overtime. Yeah, I think they can if they win game 4. If they win game 4, we have a 3-game series. And in the 3-game series, when the Panthers start, I saw this against Boston. They did it against Boston. They were down 3-1 against the team that had the best record in hockey. And they're not out of it, but they had to win that game last night. They were able to do it. Vegas is tremendous. I mean, they are really, really good. But there's something about these guys when they get confident is, the good goaltending with Bobrovsky. They stayed out of the penalty box. Matthew Tkachuk did not make any foolish penalties or have any foolish penalties called against him, and they were able to stay on the ice. And you have to against Vegas. If you go to the penalty box against Vegas, you will lose. And they did not do that last night. They played disciplined hockey, and the crowd was into it. It was a tremendous night down in Sunrise, and they're going to have another one on Saturday. So it's still there. It's still there for them.
Yeah. Robert here has a text on the Titan our text line. So JC, you're playing tennis and then going to the game tomorrow. I assume you're playing golf today and going to the game tonight.
Outstanding. Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. In fact, in 45 minutes after this show's over, I'll be right over there knocking around some of your old teammates, QB. So well, not your old teammates, but some of your old brethren off the football field want to try me today. So wish them luck. They will need it. I shot a 77 the other day and just ran away from everybody. So I'm ready to go. I'm on fire right now, QB.
All right. Ted says on Facebook Live, we have the Canadian smoke here in Maryland. You can smell it burning.
Yeah.
I appreciate you listening and stay inside. Protect yourself, Ted. Okay. Andy wants me to tell the story about when I took my daughter to Mississippi State. I don't know if JC's ever heard this. We have time since ain't a whole lot going on today, and we're waiting on Chris Harry here.
Let's talk
all
about
right. It. First of all, Dan says that's the life of the rich and famous with JC.
Oh, Dan. I mean, I still pay the bills, Dan. Don't worry.
All right. So here's the story. We were talking about. I don't know if you've heard this story, but JC, if you have, you're just going to have to be quiet and listen. So they were talking about the first ever 30 for 30, whatever that they did on our game, the play that changed college football.
Right.
So I told our listeners that I have a great story from that, blah, blah, blah. So my daughter was going for an orientation. So I am driving her from Gainesville to Starkville, Mississippi. So you have to go through, Montgomery, through Tuscaloosa. So there's a stretch, I think, from Montgomery to Tuscaloosa. It's a 2-lane road that just goes like this.
Highway 82.
Yeah. So I am hauling ass because we're kind of late, and there ain't nobody else on the road. It's just these little hills. I go over this hill, and here comes a Alabama Highway Patrol guy coming by. And as soon as he hits me, lights go on. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So I pull over, and of course, my daughter freaks out about everything. I said, it's all good. So dude walks up, the highway patrol officer walks up. I roll my window down. He goes, sir, you know how fast you're going? I said, like, honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to get my daughter to orientation. So he's like, you were going whatever it was, blah, blah, blah. This is one of the most dangerous highways in the state of Alabama. I said, all right. He goes, license, registration. Goes back. Comes back about 10 minutes later, knocks on it. He goes, Mr. Matthews, why aren't you taking your daughter to Alabama? I was like, I'm not. We're going up Starkville. She's going to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I need you to slow down. And all us folks in Alabama appreciate that interception you threw. Have a great day.
Yeah.
So he didn't give me a ticket. So I was like, hell yeah, it finally paid off. It finally paid off.
That's awesome. Well, listen, man, they have long memories there.
Well, here's the thing. The dude obviously knows sports because my license does not say Shane Matthews on it, So, but it was just funny the way he goes, why aren't you taking her to Alabama? Like, no, we're going to Mississippi State. But he says, Mr. Matthews, we appreciate that interception. Have a nice day.
I wonder if Langham got any breaks, if he needed one back in his time. I'm sure he did. But listen, that's a great story. Both our kids got to go out of state to college. Mississippi State was a great school. We both have really big feelings for that school. And when they won their first natty in school history on any sport 2 years ago in baseball, I think we were both very happy about that. And I think that, it's amazing to me how both they and Mississippi dropped off the face of the earth in baseball this year. So
it is crazy.
It's crazy to me. And here we have Southern Miss still alive. Don't be surprised if some magic comes their way. But that's a great story. And, you did take –
I was only going about 84, not 128,
but that is a crazy highway, 82.
It was nothing on it.
No, it's not. It's through the Talladega Forest, up through Tuscaloosa, around, and then all the way up to Columbus, Georgia, Mississippi, and to Starkville. But there's another way to go, I-10 to Mobile, and then up through Mississippi. That's also a very isolated road highway. I think it's 45 or something. So it's a lot of driving. It's a lot of driving to Starkville, that's for sure. And I have another friend whose son got the presidential scholarship and is going to Mississippi State as well. Kevin, we mentioned Kevin earlier in the show because he's going to take me to the game tonight. His son got the presidential scholarship to go to Mississippi State as well.
What does that mean? What's a presidential scholarship?
That just means he's on full ride, baby. He's Will Clark. He's Rafael Palmeiro. He's on his way. He's on his
of the engineering department, but not on the baseball team.
He's going to study meteorology up there. It's a strong program they have up there. So,
well, you can help him with that.
Oh, well, no question. But I'm more interested in the geography aspect of meteorology. But yeah, he's going to do that, and he's going to get a full ride. He's a full ride, dude. He's staying over there where the athletes stay, in the village, in that dormitory over there. So it's going to be exciting times for that young man. So that's 3 kids that we know here from Gainesville that went to Mississippi State. So
there's a bunch more than that. This is a text Tommy in Savannah on the Titan MR text line. He says, "Good morning, Shane and JC. Why would anyone want help from Congress? The only thing the government ever got right was the military, and they're screwing that up." Tommy in Savannah.
What are
I
we
guess he's
talking
referring. He must be referring to NIL. They had a bunch of coaches and administrators up on
Yeah,
whatever it's
I'm
called,
not
Capitol
sure.
Hill.
I'm not sure how high up the agenda this issue is with Congress right now, with everything.
We got bigger fish to fry.
I'd like to think maybe they do. Listen, there needs to be some rules and regulations. We need to have some standards put in place. And I wouldn't be surprised, QB, is once these conferences realign and things happen, that, well, maybe one day these schools just tell the NCAA to hit the road, take a hike, and go run a basketball tournament. We'll figure it out on ourselves. So we'll see.
Let's get to this day in sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. So, JC, did you know that this day in 2022, which was last year, the controversial Saudi-backed Live Golf Invitational Series got underway?
Oh,
this was the first event.
It's only been 1 year
today.
Been 1 year. It feels like, doesn't it feel like it's been around for 5? Because we've talked so much about it. But again, the opportunities are going to come for everybody, and everybody's going to win on this deal. I really think Jack Nicklaus loves the deal, and I think these players are going to be okay once they get through this initial shock. That maybe they were not told the truth, but I don't think anybody 12 months ago, including Jay Monahan, knew that this was a possibility. And so the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund is getting into sports. It is about diversifying their economy away from oil into other things. And sports is one of the things that kingdom wants to get involved in. And they've got the money, bro. And when it comes to anything, as Rory McIlroy says, money talks. Money talks. And that's what we have now. So I think people need to get over their little feelings and embrace it and watch what happens. Now, listen, this is just a memorandum of understanding. They haven't signed any contracts yet, okay? We just have a framework in place, but nothing has been finalized yet. But it's going to be, the money is going to flow like we've never seen in golf. And it's going to be, I think, better for all of us who just like to watch the best players in the world play.
I agree with that. The whole team thing is silly to me, but yeah, Tony said here, I think it was Tony, somebody said about Fred Biondi had a good start yesterday. Yeah, 7 under par is a pretty good day. The guy that's leading the tournament in the Korn Ferry shot 59.
Woo, jeez. What kind of course they playing over there?
They're playing it's the BMW deal up in I've actually played that course. It's up in North Carolina, up in the mountains.
So we've got a local kid named Chandler Blanchette who went to
Buchholz Bobcat.
Yeah, he went to Buchholz, and he has a win on that tour in I think it was in maybe it's not Korn Ferry. He won something else, but he won in South America, and I think it was to stay on the Korn Ferry tour. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that up. But he also is a kid we should keep our eye on in the minor leagues of golf, so to speak. And I think
the only Gator playing this week in Canada is Tyson Alexander.
Okay.
And I think I saw Brian Gay's old ass, who's at 50. I think Brian plays a little bit on the senior tour. Yeah, Brian shot 1 over yesterday.
You talk about a guy that made a living not winning, but still played.
That
well
dude's
enough.
short game. Yeah, he could putt his butt off.
Yeah, no doubt.
He was a part of the last.
Yes, he was. He was on that. He was on that DeMarco, Pat Bates.
No, that wasn't the last national title team.
No.
I don't think DeMarco and them didn't win one.
No, you're right.
It was Nick Gillum's team.
He was on. No, he wasn't on Nick's team.
That's what I said. He wasn't. He was on one when Chris Couch was a freshman or sophomore. I can't remember.
Okay.
But anyway, we're butchering the show.
This championship that they're celebrating right now over there is the first one in 20 years, right? Or 22 years. Because the 01 team is the team with Gillum and Villegas and Benedetti and the redheaded young man.
Bubba Dickerson?
Bubba Dickerson. Those were the guys that won the last championship for the school before this team. So that's 20-something years ago. That's 22 years ago. Think about what you were doing back then. That was around 9/11 time.
Dan says he's still looking for the swinging Gator polo. What's the holdup? Dan, shoot me a text. I can get you one. But they should be selling them.
Be careful, QB. You're going to be sending them to all the audience members now. Come on.
Yeah. Andy says the dude leading the Corn Ferry is the nephew of punter Jeff Feagles. I did see that. Remember Jeff Feagles that punted forever for the Giants and the Cardinals?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
His nephew shot 59. That's pretty impressive.
Since you brought up football, by the way, the Jaguars introduced, pull it up on Google, folks, the Jaguars' new football stadium that Shad Khan and the city of Jacksonville are going to split the expense on, about $2 billion, has come out with some sketches and some pictures. And in about 4 or 5 years, we're going to have an unbelievable football facility, I believe, in Jacksonville. The question will be, where will the team play when they start breaking ground on the current stadium in a year or two? So
Orlando.
It's going to be Orlando. And then what will they do with Florida, Georgia? They go home and home on that?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me. You're worried about Chris?
Well, he must be sleeping. He was so excited to get on here and talk about all these damn transfers. You know, they picked up another one yesterday, a big time guard from UC Riverside.
Oh, big time. Big time.
Yep. Hey, very highly rated ball club. All right.
8 wins. 8 wins. Got to get to 8. Can't get to 8. You're not great.
In basketball, I hope we can win 8.
No. Okay, he's talking about basketball. I'm talking about football.
We didn't have many transfers like they did in basketball.
They better do something. Yeah, you're right. They need players. There's no doubt.
Okay, JC, I'm going to read this question/comment from Gene on Facebook Live. He says, "Hold up, QB's giving away swinging Gator polos."
That's right. See, there you go. Look what
we're
not.
Did. We don't.
Look what
no, Gene. Only Gene would call and want something for free.
Hey, Gino, I'll let you look at mine, buddy. I got a couple. I'll let you look at mine. Yeah, Gino, I think really what we need to do is all become boosters of the program. Maybe in that respect, you can get things done. I have a friend, we have a mutual friend who's got JC Deacon all over him with a bag with his name on it. He's got the Swinging Gator hat, which you're going to get from me, QB, and he's got the Swinging Gator shirts. I mean, it's a great logo. It's a great logo, and
if you spend money, you get stuff, JC.
Oh well, I do that. I do that. I'm very proud to do that. But be a booster, Gino. They'd love to have you on the booster club over there, Gino. They'd love to have you.
All right, we have the great Chris Harry in the waiting room, JC. So you're out. I'll be watching for you to do Mr. Two Bits tonight over there in 106 and 107 tonight.
All right. Have fun. Go Gators. We'll see you tonight, folks.
All right. That's JC. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline. Take a quick timeout. Come back. Talk a little hoops with Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro Football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Prime and Pearl, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Skechers, F45, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the #1 celebrity polished casual restaurant in all of America. Go to Celebration Point, folks. All right, we're going to go to the Titan Number Hotline now. We're going to be joined by senior writer from FloridaGators.com, Chris Harry. Good morning, Chris. How you doing, bud?
Morning, Shane. How are you?
Doing great. I wanted to get you on because obviously there's a lot of buzz about the Gator basketball program, highly touted, ranked recruiting class from the transfer portal. Tell us right now, because I mean, everybody's been in baseball mode, softball, track, all the spring sports. They just got picked up another
golf, Shane.
Golf, yeah, at Swinging Gator, baby.
Right.
So they just got another transfer yesterday, or a couple days ago, I guess. Just tell us how many transfers we have, how many are on campus, and can we expect any more?
Well, it's like any other year. There's going to be 4, 5, 6 transfers coming in and out. It's just the way college basketball has business modeled itself the last few days the last few seasons. So right now, the number of Florida transfers is at 5, with the addition of Zion Pullen from UC Riverside. Obviously, a late addition coming in on June the 8th officially. Now this guy he was a 4-year player at UC Riverside. Started I think 77 of 78 games the last 3 years. All Big West Conference player. He's a big kid. He's a 6'4", 6'4.5" guard. And he went into the NBA evaluation process after his senior season, averaged 18.3 points a game out there at Riverside. And then came out, and when he came out, I mean, he had already entered the transfer portal as a prerequisite before he went in. And I mean, Gonzaga was interested, Xavier was interested, Michigan was interested just until last week, and it came down to Florida LSU, and he's going to come here and he's going to play point guard in a backcourt that now has that returns already. Obviously, Riley Kugel, who obviously blossomed toward the end of last season in his true freshman season. Will Richard, without a question, one of the most efficient shooters, not just in the SEC, but in the country. He led the SEC in field goal efficiency last year. And now they added Walter Clayton Jr., combo guard from Iona, played 2 years up there for Rick Pitino, a Florida kid. Great athlete, was a football star in high school, football recruit in high school, won a state championship in basketball. So now those are your 4 guards, plus you got Denzel Aberdeen returning, who didn't play very much last year, but Gators like him. So now you got him, and you have there's a reconfigured backcourt right there, Shane, but you have a remade front court. You lose Colin Castleton, and you lose Alex Fudge, and you lose Jason Tachobo and CJ Felder, and you bring in 3 more transfers. I'll go. I don't know if I should go alphabetically or just what. There's so many of them coming in. Micah Hanlington from Marshall. He's a 7'1" kid. I saw him yesterday. He's impressive looking. He's not this gangly, tall, lanky kid that you would expect. He's a little more filled out, and he can really, really run. Then you got E.J. Jarvis, who was the first transfer who committed. He's from Yale. Just a solidly built guy, very tough. defensive minded, decent shooter, decent, smart offensive player. And finally, the third was Tyrese Samuel, who's like a 6'8.5", 6'9" kid from Seton Hall, who's just a true low post guy and a rebounder, and like the two other guys that are rim protectors. What these new guys are going to be able to do is let Todd Golden run the offense he wants to run, which is kind of like a 3-out, big setting screens, and the bigs rolling to the rim for Princeton, kind of whether it's backdoor cuts or rim running, lobs, and that kind of thing. That's the kind of offense he wants to run. That's what he ran in San Francisco when he had a talented and deep front court. And they're excited about this team. Now they only got 11 guys on scholarship. They still have 2 more holes. I think they're going to fill at least 1 more. Pretty sure of that right now. But we'll see what happens with the other one. But they got their core group of guys that are going to play next season.
So having said all that, basically,
and that was a mouthful. I apologize for that.
No, it was great. It was great because I mean, I knew we had new transfers, but the entire team is totally new except for Riley Kugel, pretty much, right?
Well, Will Richard was a really
I forgot about him.
Player last season. I mean, he started most of the year.
So those two are really the only returners. No,
well, you bring back Alex Shimsick, who showed up late after Colin got hurt, the German kid, who was, they asked him a little bit too much too early, and he wasn't terrible by any stretch of imagination. He got better as the season went on, and what they asked him to do, he was able to do. He's going to be a better player this year. I mean, he's a true freshman last year who'd never been in the United States. So he's a true developmental guy if he can accept his role and be that. But they brought the bigs in over on top of him. But you have 4 bona fides in the backcourt. You have 3 bona fides in the front court. How this is going to mesh, I mean, they're going to play 3 guards and 2 bigs. That's definitely going to do. 4 of those guards are used to playing a lot. They're all going to play a lot. Just which one's going to start is going to be a question. But it may not matter because they're all going to play a similar amount of minutes.
We're there's rankings of all these recruiting classes through the transfer portal. Where were the Gators ranked at this moment?
Were you looking at transfer overall? Kind of certainly in the top 10. What I saw, they're second in the SEC behind Arkansas. Arkansas, as long as Eric Musselman is going to be there, it's just going to be a transfer away station like he was in Nevada. But I say that I'm not trying to be dismissive because every school is a transfer away station now. So I'm not jumping on Arkansas. My daughter is a university professor there, so all respect for the Hogs. But they've gotten some good players. West Virginia has done very, very well in the transfer portal also. So there's a lot of schools that have done well. And I think Texas Tech is another. Kansas has done well in the transfer portal. Florida believes it has done well in the transfer portal. I've been around their coaches the last couple of days. They're very excited about this team they have right now.
We got a text on the Titan Mark text line from Tim. He says, Chris, did NIL play a big factor in getting a lot of these players?
Well, they're more organized than they were. And I think that's probably can be said about the entire system across the University of Florida's situation with Florida victorious now. So NIL is here to stay. Yes, it played a factor. I'm not going to get into details of what those factors were, but it's going to be it's a factor. It's a factor in every sport. It's a factor in football, and certainly needs to be with the and I wrote a story this week up on Capitol Hill this week. The SEC took every member in this institution was up there lobbying their state constituents, congressmen, senators, what have you, to try to get to Congress and fix this NIL thing after what California did last week, passing that bill. They pass it. It's got to go to debate. It needs to be passed and signed by the governor for revenue sharing in Division I sports. That's a pretty slippery. That's a slippery slope. That's a Grand Canyon to be falling off that cliff all of a sudden. Florida was the only school in the SEC to take student athletes up to Capitol Hill to speak to Marco Ruby, speak to Kat Kamek, to speak to Gus Bilirakis, and legislators to do something uniform, pass through Congress, uniform rules for NIL, and get the pay for play kind of notion out of the whole thing. just where that goes, I don't know, but it's another long-winded answer to Tim's question.
Yeah, and then Andy on Facebook Live, we're talking about the Gators taking student athletes. He says, Chris, do you know how Jack Pyburn got selected to go to DC to talk about the NIL in Congress?
I do not know what went into to his decision. Now, I'd be speaking out of turn. I just know that, from what I understand, he represented the Gators very, very well, as did Trinity Thomas, as did Zippy Broughton from the women's basketball team.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Brent Beard yesterday because he had mentioned some of the coaches that were there, and I'm sure his list that he had and I joked about it. It had Hugh Freeze, Bruce Pearl, and Calipari, and I'm going, why did we send these three guys up there to speak about?
Well, Florida sent no coaches. They sent Scott Strickland, they sent Linda Teeler, and they sent 3 student athletes. And like I said, that Florida was the only school that sent student athletes to give their perspective. And I think the legislators up there, appreciated hearing a different kind of take from the whole thing than just hearing what coaches were going to say. There are plenty of coaches up there.
Rose-Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com on the Titan Mar hotline. So, Chris, right now, you said yesterday or the day before you saw the big 7-1 transfer from Marshall working out. What people are wanting to know, like, what's the basketball team doing right now?
Okay, well, NCAA is a lot. I think there's 8 weeks over the course of the summer, once a spring semester ends, that you're allowed to 20 hours of work on the floor, and players can go out on their own if they want. But I'm talking about like work with coaches. They had their first one of those last week. Now they're going to have the large majority of those workouts after these guys start coming in. And like I said, right when I was leaving the Micah's workout, EJ Jarvis had just checked in and just signed in. I don't know that he's totally clear. All these guys can't do anything until they get enrolled officially and they pass physicals, and they go through whatever the battery of orientation tests are. But I imagine, I think Tyrese Samuel came last Friday, I believe. I don't know if he had started work yet, but I think Todd is out of town this week, took his family on a vacation. The other coaches are here, but I think he'll be back next week. And I would imagine it'll be full-scale workouts going on. It's funny, I mean, Walter Clayton, I walked in the gym the other day and people were pointing to this guy. It looked like, he's going to be a difference maker this season. It's what these guys are saying. I'm looking over there and I'm watching Riley Kugel, at least I thought, shoot the basketball. I said, well, yeah, he was a difference maker at the end of last season. I was watching Walter Clayton and I didn't know they had the same hair, the same kind of build. Riley's taller, about 3 inches, 4 inches, maybe 2 or 3 inches taller, excuse me. But they have the same kind of hair, the same kind of look about them. And when on the court, they have similar kind of movements to them. But it's just, and you got Will Richard, who his effective field goal percentage last year in conference play was over 60%. That's a joke. I mean, the coaches strive for 50%, and there's a formula for that with the advanced metrics and what have you. But and now you roll in, Pullen from UC Riverside, who, like I said, he's like a 6'4" SEC looking guard. He's a volume shooter. He shot 420 shots last year, I think. Florida's closest was like 310. That was Castleton. Obviously, he got hurt. But this guy is a volume shooter, but I think he only took 69 threes. So he's a guy who excels at getting in the lane and 2-point shots. But he also is for his career, average over 4 assists a game. He's the only guy on the Florida roster who has numbers like that. So he is a distributor. So the Gators were concerned about point guard, not overly concerned. They thought Walter Clayton could play, but now they got 2 guys who they feel pretty confident on the ball going in next season.
I have a question about it's kind of part of the Gators, but I've always, in the summertime, you're flipping through the channels, not a whole lot on TV. They have the basketball tournament where it's former players playing for $1 million or something like that. Well, the Gators, I've always wondered why the Gators hadn't had a team. They're going to have one now. Matt McCall, former assistant, is going to be the head coach. I think Torian Green is going to be the assistant. Is he still part? Is he still part of? Will he still be able to be, or is he still part of the basketball program?
Yes, he is. He's
Okay.
the director of player development.
So he can go coach that team, and it doesn't really
matter.
Yeah,
and not only that, starting this season, the NCAA passed a rule, and I don't know if it's gone into effect yet. It may be in July. I'm not 100% sure, but you can hire 2 more assistants, or you can designate 2 more assistants that can be on the floor, whereas in the past it's only been 3. Now you can have 5 that can be on the floor, and I believe Torian Green is going to be one of those for the Gators, and he needs to be because, it's for obvious reasons. But that basketball team, or the basketball tournament, TBT is what it is, I guess. Corey Brewer is going to play. I think Lee Humphrey is going to play on that team. They're kind of like doing a mini getting the band back together for that. So,
well, a lot of people probably may not know about it, but what it is former players from each university. They give them they come up with these cool nicknames, and then they actually are playing for $1 million. I think it's $1 million.
I think it's $1 million. I think it's only one team gets the $1 million, right?
Correct.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
I think so.
Winner take all. Yeah, I think it's winner take all.
Yeah. So right now it's Corey Brewer. You said Lee Humphrey, and who else?
I think Corey Brewer, Lee Humphrey, who I've spent a lot of time with, obviously during the season. I'm trying to think who the third guy might be. I don't know off the top of my head. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to that. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get Matt McCall on just to talk about it, because I watch silly stuff a lot of times during the summer, and I've always wondered why we never had a team, but we do now.
I think Canyon Berry may have played in a couple years ago and may have gotten to the finals of playing with somebody else, if I'm not mistaken, or I may have him confused with a different kind of 3-on-3 league or something like that. Is it a 5-man tournament, or is it 3-on-3?
Oh, no. This is real basketball. It's just like the NCAA tournament. You're thinking that there is another 3-on-3 deal, but this is real basketball. Last question before we get you out of here, from John on the Titan of our text line, is regarding softball. We saw yesterday that Tim Walton has fired Mike Bosch, the pitching coach. Any idea, Chris, who he may hire? Any chance of Jen Rocha coming back?
If you were Jen Rocha, would you come back?
No, because I think Jen Rocha will eventually take over when Patty Gasso hangs it up.
I mean, if I'm Patty Gasso making that money, I don't know if I'm going to hang it up anytime soon. But,
right.
I mean, all you do is make a lot of money and you lose one game every year and win the national championship every year. I think they got to figure it out in Norman, Oklahoma, when it comes to women's softball. Don't have any idea who that pitching coach might be. I don't think it's as simple as saying, "Oh, let's go get Hannah Rogers," or "Let's go get something like that." Go get somebody who is used to coaching pitchers. And somebody who has, some recruiting chops too, and get out there and pile on. Because, I mean, whatever went into the decision, this new coach is going to come in and inherit the number 1 recruit in the country, which is, her name escapes me right now. She's the pitcher from Indianapolis. And the number 3 or 4, depending on your rankings, recruit in the country, the pitcher from Texas. Florida has 3 of the top 4 prospects coming in this incoming freshman class. And we haven't even talked about the transfer portal yet, which I imagine will get pretty active. So really exciting times, whoever this next pitching coach is going to be. Going to walk into some really cool times.
Chris, appreciate your time, my man. Have a good weekend. And we will talk to you soon, bud.
Enjoy baseball, Shane.
Absolutely.
Be out there.
That's Chris Harry. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Hope you enjoyed today's program. I want to thank Chris Harry, who does a tremendous job. You can follow him on Twitter at GatorsChris and read all his stuff at FloridaGators.com. Enjoy the baseball this weekend, folks. We will recap it all on Monday. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the Gators heading to Omaha. Have a great weekend. See you then. Take care.